Good evening, family. Pastor Kurt asked me to share a few minutes on what I feel God's doing, or what I think God's doing at the moment. So I want to do that. I want to share sort of a two-part thing. I want to share what He's doing in my life and what I think He's doing in the world. I feel like in the last 2 or 3 weeks for me, God's been saying and calling me and saying, like, almost the phrase, get your stuff together, get your life together, almost, get things together. And for a while I've been going, my life's, well, I didn't think my life was just that much of a mess, what are you saying, God? And I feel like it's more than a case of my life's a mess, because I don't think my life's a mess, but it's a case of, how do I say this? What am I doing? Where am I, as a Christian, what is my action? What is my, I'm a practical person, so it's my Christianity, my faith, is it practical? Am I actually being practical? If I say, let me share a bit about what I think God's doing in the world at the moment, maybe I will come back to myself, but I think the two sort of tie in. I kind of feel like at the moment, we as Christians, or as I don't want to say a movement, but as God's children, we've been given a bit of a voice. We've been given an opportunity to not so that we want to put our opinions on things and stuff like that, but we've been given an opportunity to have a say. We've been given an opportunity to pray. We've been given an opportunity to be a part of what's going on in the world. And years ago, the church was where everything originated. Pastor Kurt said this before when he preached. It was the school, it was the hospital, it was those things. Or it came from those things, it was related to them, or it was attached to them. People associated church, Christian, God with healing, growth, those types of things, education. And in the last number of years, that's been slowly but surely been taken away. And I don't know that it's us as Christians that is stepping down. I think it's just slowly, the world is just taking over. And I mean, we know the Bible says we must be in the world but not of the world. So we understand that that is what's going to happen. But I think it in my opinion, is quite sad. But I think it's quite nice that now under COVID, no, COVID's not nice at all, don't get me wrong. But under COVID, we've been able to get a bit of a voice. We've been able to get a bit of opportunity where people are looking to us and saying, what do you believe is going to happen? What do you believe God's doing? What do you believe? Or even worst case scenario, the lowest that we've been asked is to pray for people. Please, pray for me, pray for my family, pray for the sick. Never mind the fact that we've been given an opportunity to feed somebody. We've been given an opportunity to actually go and visit somebody, to help somebody out who needed it. And I think as a practical person in my Christianity, my faith, my walk, I love to sit around and talk. Don't get me wrong, I do. I love to sit around and talk about, issues of faith and break down the Bible and see what does it really say and stuff like that. I really love it. But what I love more is seeing faith in action. Bible says God says faith without works is dead. I think one of the biggest things that made me really happy and made my heart bounce, if I can put it that way, is, and it sounds a very weird thing to say, I suppose, but knowing how many people we actually fed, how many people Oasis fed. Now I don't know the exact figures, I don't know the exact people, I don't want to know that, but what I do want to know, or what I do want to know, is that we are doing that. Are we, as Christians, we are stepping out and actually doing something. I think the world is waiting to see what Christians are going to do. The world is waiting to see what are we physically going to do. Are we going to sit around and go, no, God's got this, which He does have it. Or are we going to say, God's got this, here's a meal. God's got this, can I pray for you? God's got this, let me help you out. Let me fetch you, or, fetch you because you don't have your car anymore, or whatever the story might be. I think the world is in a really, really challenging place, and I think I kind of think of the idea or the story or the parable where that God speaks of how it's easier for a camel to get the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. Now, why I bring that up, or why I say that, is that the world has been a rich man. The world is if I can put it in brackets, the world is a rich man. The world has not needed God. We know that they have, but they in their mind, in the world's mind, people are going, we don't need God, we've got this. We've got, medical aids, we've got all these things, we've got great jobs and so on and so forth, big houses and so on and so forth. But when COVID came, COVID showed that didn't really matter. COVID still hit those that have got medical aid, hit those that have got jobs, hit those with big houses, hit those that didn't have those things. It didn't discriminate between those type of things, the rich and the poor. People needed God. People need God to help them. People they need God to. They are looking at God. Our president is praying. Our president is. I mean, we haven't seen that in years. We haven't felt that not need or that blessing. In my opinion, even if it's only because of the situation that we're in now with COVID, he is actually praying. He's crying out to God. And we know that God is always asking, always knocking on the door. It says, I stand at the door and I knock. We know that that's what God's doing. We know that in this country, in this world, God is knocking on the door. Now we've got a pandemic that's come out that doesn't discriminate between rich and poor, between whatever. We all can get it. There's a number of people who've got it. I've heard of numbers of people that I know that have got it. And some have got it mild, some have got it really badly. The point is we all got it. Those things hasn't protected the world. The things, this education and stuff hasn't protected the world. What protects us is God. Who rocks up for us is God. And I think the thing about, if I come back to my life, God is going, what are you doing with the faith I'm giving you? What are you doing with the faith? Yes, you run the youth and stuff, but what are you doing with it? A year ago, if I can put it this way, youth was easy. Well, not easy, but it was easy enough. All I had to do was rock up on a Friday evening, put out soccer balls and stuff like that, put music on, turn the lights down kind of thing, make sure the leaders were there and they were ready to have fun, and the kids rocked up and they had a blast. And they grew, the numbers grew. And they grew because the kids knew they could come and have fun. And I think church is the same. I think a year ago we knew, either we went to church because it's the right thing to do on a Sunday, or on a Sunday we go to church. We see our friends, we greet about someone, we have coffee, we have worship, we have word, Pastor Kurt prays for us, and we go home. Little action, really, actually, if you think about it. We only had to get up and go to church. Now we're in a situation where we don't have that. Yes, we are meeting. We are having 2 services on a Sunday, 8:30 and 10:30. We're meeting 50 people in a service, and God is moving, guys. I encourage you guys to please book your spot and join in. Sundays. This last Sunday was crazy. The worship was insane. But it takes more of us now. It requires more of us. It's not that God requires more of us, because He's on our case, if I can put it that way, all the time. He's asking, He's knocking at the door all the time. We have to get out of our chair and go and open the door. If that makes sense. It's almost like the door was kind of open before, but not really. It was only open because on a Sunday, church was open and you could go, and there was 300 people or whatever it was, and it was easy. Some people would skip church in summertime because, I'll go in the evening service, or I'll go next week, there's no problem. Now people have a hunger for church. Now we're having to have church online, we're having to have all these types of things, which is great, because I feel like it's creating more of an action in our faith. It's creating more of what are we actually doing? When we're hearing about our neighbors that are struggling, are we actually doing it? I mean, my family runs a business, and we've had it's a good thing and a bad thing, but we've had the opportunity in the last while to really be able to bless people in not terms of giving them actually anything, but allowing them to pay off what they owe, or to stuff like that, or to pay it a couple of days late, because they're struggling because of COVID, because of those things. Not people who've made bad decisions. We're talking about people who are struggling because of COVID. And I think that's a faith in action. I think faith in action is the food that we're bringing in, that the church is able to give out. Faith in action is actually taking the time to pray, For me, God's challenging me, and more and more so, to get I want to say a foot in the door kind of thing in different situations, in different people's lives. So, for instance, I have a friend who's not really church-based, and she doesn't really, she believes in God, but she's had a bit of a rocky time, and just be there for her. Just send her a message, say, how's it going? How do her and her fiance they live out of PE, and so just to touch base with them and see that they are still okay in this situation. And when I did that recently, I literally was blown away, because the response I got was quite hectic. It was quite, it made me realize that she was in a difficult place. And I don't know that I made much of a difference, but I know that she knows I'm a Christian, and she knows that I reached out, and I said, God's got this. And I said, if you ever need anything, please, contact me. Can I do anything, kind of thing. Whether she contacts me or not, it's not the point. The point is, she knows that God loves her, because I've put it out there. Are we? And I'm not brilliant. I'm terrible at going up to people and saying God loves you, and that's not my thing. But for me, in action, faith in action. You need help with something, I'm there. You need this, I'm there. Can I join? I'm there. You're welcome. Come join. Join in with this. Join in with that. Give me a call if you're ever struggling. That's what I do, because I love people. Because God has put that love in my heart, and I think I know that He's done that for everybody. But what I think that's what He's doing at the moment. He's stirring up people who have a love for Him. He's stirring up people who have opportunity to feed someone, feed a family, have an opportunity to help someone with a lift to go to work because they've lost their car, or whatever it might be. Look after their kids because they've got to go to work, but the kids are now staying at home. God's giving us opportunities in this thing, in this time, and that we're in, this new normal that we're in and we're going into. God's giving us opportunity to show our faith in action. To faith without works is dead. So let's do this. Let's have works. Let's. That sounds like a weird Christian thing to say, but let's do the stuff. Not just pray, not just do that. Please, the more. We know this. Pray. The Bible says pray without stopping, unceasingly. But feed someone. Give someone a lift. Greet someone. Buy them a chocolate. These simple things that encourage people and bless people. So I think I'm encouraged by that. And I think that's what God's been stirring up in my heart and stirring up my heart to try and revamp the youth kind of thing in terms of how we do it, because we've had to. We've gone online and we spoke about this from the staff when the staff were on the evening slot. But I've struggled a bit in the last while, and I think that's part of what God's saying. Get your stuff together. Get your plans together. Get your ideas together. Get your leaders together and say to them, let's chat. Let's see what's going on. What do you guys think? Let's move forward. Let's make an action. Let's put an action out there for this time where people are where it's difficult to connect, where people are struggling to connect, where the youth are struggling. They can't get up, go to mom and say, give me a lift. I want to go to youth on Friday night. You can't come to church on Friday night for youth. We're hoping and praying, Lord, that a miracle will happen and that we will be able to soon, but we can't. So we as the leaders, and that's what we as Christians are. We are actually called to be leaders in this world. We're called to be, as I said, in the world, but not of the world. So we are called to be people who are stepping out there in faith and being bold. We as leaders have had to do that. We've had to, split the kids up into groups and pray for them. And this week we're going to be contacting them, and we went to do home visits. And the thing is that we've been able to, and we've been called to, put action to our faith, put action to our relationship. Some people say, don't tell me you love me, show me you love me. And I think that's what God's saying at the moment. I think God's saying, He's not saying show me you love me, like we love Him. He knows we love Him, and He loves us even more. What He's saying is, show me that you love my people, feed my people. The word says that Jesus said to the disciples, whenever you fed when you fed a hungry person, you fed me. And whenever you clothed, and they asked, when did we see you naked and give you clothes, and hungry and feed you? And Jesus says, whenever you did this for the least of these, you did it for me. And I think that is such an integral part of what our faith is about. Our faith is about being the hands and the feet of Christ, of God, being the people that are going to get out there and do this thing. So I want to encourage you. That's sort of where I'm at. I think in this COVID time, God is stirring up an absolute challenge for us to be people of faith, to be people of action, faith in action, faith in making a difference in someone's life. I know for a fact that when you plant a small seed in someone's life, that seed can easily grow into a massive tree, because that silly little thing that you did in our minds, it's silly, but that silly little call, or that silly little message, or that chocolate, or that one little meal can change someone's life completely. I want to encourage you guys. I want to encourage you guys to be blessed. Encourage you guys to find opportunities to do this. I know that there are multiple opportunities in our communities. We know of many people that are still in need, and the need is even growing even more and more. I think at the moment, as we passed the whatever it is. I don't know the exact figures, but let's say 5-6 month time frame. Yeah, people are. It's now really getting bad. They managed to either have some savings and they've gone back to work, but things are people are struggling. Now's the opportunity that we as faith-based people, we as Christians, we as God-loving people, with Jesus and the Holy Spirit in our heart, step up and we make a difference in this world. And I think that will say so much more than getting up there and preaching condemnation and preaching eternal burn. I think what will change the world is showing the love of God. So encourage you guys. I want us to be blessed. I hope you enjoy the other guys that have enjoyed them. I'm not sure where they are that are chatting tonight as well. Eric and Dylan, they have got such amazing hearts. I hope you're blessed by them, and I hope that we see you on Sunday. 2 services, 8:30 and 10:30, and online. I'm running online from we're starting at 8:30. A bit of a change, 8:30, and then at 2:45 we start with worship, and then at about 9, even from 9, 9:05, we'll get into the Word. And I'm certain that it's going to be another powerful, powerful word. I think God is stirring so much in our leadership alone in this time that we are going to be history makers. There's an old song that goes, "I want to be a history maker." I want to change this world, and I know that God's calling us to be history makers at this moment. So be blessed. Call out to God or open the door. He's knocking. Open the door. Let him in, and let's see what he can do in your life. Let's see whose life he can change because he's in your life. Be blessed. Love you guys, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Hi there guys, I hope all of you are very, very well. So Pastor Kurt asked me to share a little bit of where I'm finding myself in this global pandemic, and I thought a bit, and you know what, I asked the Lord to guide me where I am more or less, and I felt encouraged to tell you guys of a struggle I found myself in. So it started more or less a month ago, where literally the pressure of lockdown actually really started getting to me. Work was under pressure, my relationship with my friends were under pressure, my relationship everywhere, all my relationships were severely under pressure. I didn't have time for myself, I didn't have time to rest. There was no way of resting at all, so I started burning out myself, and through that, without me knowing that I'm starting to burn out myself, I started to get frustrated, and I never knew where it came from. I never knew where the root was for that anger and stuff, and with that anger I started taking it out upon people, but not shouting on them or anything, but just easily getting frustrated with them. And I'm not really a person that shares very easily. So I kept it all inside, trying to work it out on my own and everything, and yeah, we all know how that usually works out. So I turned to my one friend and I told her about what's going on, and she really tried helping me, but it wasn't really something that a person can help you with. She always said for immense anger there's immense pain and stuff, and I was no, you know what, I don't believe in that, because I'm happy, there's nothing wrong with me, there's no heartbreak and nothing. And as time progressed, I realized, you know what, there is actually there's a lot of hurt that I haven't dealt with, and I started wanting to work on that. But it felt there was this circle, and I heard a rattling noise in the bush, and then I'd walk to that side to sort it out, and then the enemy throw a rock to the other side, and then I started going towards that noise, and when I get close to that, the devil throws a rock in the other direction. So I started walking around and around and around, trying to get to the source, but I couldn't. There was no way for me to get from the starting point to the finish point, because the devil was getting me all around about, and that started to frustrate me even more. So I was at this point why I want to work on this, but why can't I get to the point? Why can't I figure out what's going on? Why doesn't the Lord want to get me to that place? And so as time progressed, it got even worse and worse and worse, and it was, I can't remember where it was, but I completely lost it. It took a turn for the worst. So I went to see someone on a Saturday to tell them listen, I'm not happy at all. I'm going to leave. You're never going to see me again. I'm done. So I arranged to meet with them on a Saturday, and I went to that person, and I was sitting down. He was sitting on the other side of the table, and just before I started speaking, he started speaking to me, and I was battling with rage. Literally my leg and fist was yes, why are you saying these things to me? I don't want to hear you speak. I'm the one who wants to speak. I'm the one who wants to tell you goodbye. I'm done with this. And as I was sitting there, not speaking to him, he was speaking to me, I felt you know what, out of good manners, let's just listen what he has to say. You don't have to take it in. Just let it be like water from a duck's back. Let it just go off. Let it wash away. And when he's done, you'll be like, okay, thanks for the good chat. Adios. See you again. So then I decided I'm going to do that. So during that, from the rage rattling, I started calming down. I was like, okay, now I'm listening what he says, what he's going to tell me. And it's as if that 1 second of like surrendering, if I can call it that, changed everything. Like the anger disappeared completely. I sat there and I was like, I actually want to listen what this person is telling me. And he told me, like, listen, usually when you lose your temper, it's like it's a bomb, and with each bomb there's like a fuse. And if there's something wrong in your life, like a part you don't feel like good with, the part of the fuse gets shortened. So let's say your fuse is around about, let's say, 5 meters, and when you have something you haven't dealt with, it takes a meter away. So each thing that you haven't dealt with makes your fuse shorter, and that makes you more prone to like explode. Then you explode way easier than you want to. And I started listening to that, and that really touched my heart. Then I was like, now that I'm thinking about it, there are literally a lot of things that I have to deal with. And as a man, you don't say that to yourself. I mean, like, we are strong, independent men. Like, yo, we run this. We don't feel pain. We don't have stuff to sort out. Yes, we do. We have a lot of things to sort out. And I realized that. And as he started talking, I realized what I had to do. And it's as if everything changed. And from there, I actually started listening what he had to say. What he said came into my heart, and it started like making sense to me. And up until a point where I wasn't just listening, I was speaking. I was speaking about what hurts me, what I'm going through, what the problems are. And I started opening up, and I realized that that's only by the might of Jesus that had happened. And we continued chatting and everything. We made a few jokes, and it's as if everything changed completely. My whole heart and motives were changed in an instant. It's as if just that 1 second of letting your guard down can change your life completely. And I want to talk about that, for like how 1 second of like when your guard is down can affect your life. It can be good and it can be bad. I mean, if you're in a good space and you let your guard down for 1 second, the enemy can come in and destroy you. That's usually what we hear. Like, if you let your guard down, no, the enemy's gonna come in and take everything and just ruin your life. But it can also be the other way around. You can be in a bad space. You can fight with so many emotions and feelings and everything, and you can put up a wall for the Lord. You can say, nope, not letting you in. I'm not letting you in. Nothing. I'm going to be stubborn, and this is how it's going to be. And if you let your guard down for 1 second, and you let the Lord come into your life and change what's in your inside, then that's going to be the change of everything. Then your whole heart's going to change, and you're going to go to the good side. Because I mean, after that chat, I told my one friend, which I opened up about everything, because I told her, like, listen, I'm going to meet this person and talk to this person and say adios. So she asked, because I told her, like, okay, it's done, the chat's over and everything. I talked to the person, and she's like, okay, how'd it go? And I was like, I don't know, like, everything that I planned was gone. All my motives were changed. I'm a changed man. It was the first time in months' time that I like literally felt inner peace. Like, I know usually it was like, yeah, our hearts are at peace. I'm feeling good, but that was the first time in a very long time that I literally felt at ease. I felt happiness, I felt joy, I felt peace. I couldn't even remember how my heart felt before the time. And I know that's like, oh, you're just saying that. No, I'm not saying it, that's how it felt. I just want to encourage you guys, if there's ever like a hard time in your life that you're going through, I mean, like this corona thing is really, it's hard. Like like our health isn't being affected and everything, but it definitely has an impact on all of our lives. I mean, it's not getting any easier, but the pressure builds up. There's going to be attacks like permanently, and the moment we're in a bad space and we feel like the Lord has maybe like left us alone, I can promise you it's not the Lord. It's definitely you who moved away, and you'll get at a point where you're like, okay, yes, Lord, I messed up, but there's no way that you can that we can restore what we had. It's like, no. All it's going to take is 1 second of you leaving your stubbornness. The moment you leave your stubbornness, the Lord can work with you. And once the stubbornness is gone and your pride has fallen, then there's going to be amazing things that could happen. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to share with you what happened, what's on my journey and stuff. And I really hope this helps you maybe in the future when struggles get real and life gets hard. So yeah, I hope you all have a blessed week and enjoy.